This one's called I Use the Hate that People Have for Taekwondo to My Advantage. How do I do that? Well, first of all, people have complained to me that they hate Taekwondo, even if they are telling me I teach it part time. And when they start telling me about how they hate Taekwondo and how this happened, that happened, usually I find out about a bad experience they had with an instructor. I use that to help correct my own teaching and try not to make sure I don't make the same mistake that they did. Like one guy told me, he ended up telling me he hated Taekwondo. First he said he didn't think it worked, but that wasn't the real reason. It turns out he used to go to class and he got thrown into a situation where the contact level was too high for his beginner ability and he got hurt. And he said the instructor would keep kicking him in the head. And he was sparring with him. So I made a mental note. Okay, if you're the instructor, don't try to go kamikaze on your students. You may think you're teaching them something. Maybe this instructor was trying to toughen him up, or he had some kind of flaw where he kept leaving one side of his face open or something. But it didn't work. By not showing any lack of control, self-control was supposed to be one of the tenets of Taekwondo, he lost the student. Another thing I used to do when I was younger, which really worked out well, is telling other people that the Taekwondo, which was not a lie, but it's a great way to get free lessons. That's how I learned a lot of stuff about trapping, grappling, people breaking down the ranges of combat to me because they assumed that I didn't know. And, well, at first I didn't know, but I didn't know jack anyway. And then as I started learning and knowing, I could get even more and more questions from them. I mean, more and more answers when I would ask them questions. I would just say, oh, well, if you're doing Taekwondo and I'm going to throw a kick. First, I wouldn't do it. I was like, no, I'm not throwing a kick out here in public. But a couple of times I did, and they would show me some of the things that they would do to try to counter the kick. Okay, so I added that to my repertoire. Join discussion boards. See them ragging on Taekwondo. What happened? Another one is, you got people that took Taekwondo. They're probably like a yellow belt or something, went out and picked a fight with somebody whose experience makes them the equivalent of a black belt in street fighting. How do you think that's going to go? It's not going to go well for you, is it? You have no experience in fighting and you go pick a fight with someone. What do you think is going to happen? So, with people's criticisms of Taekwondo, which is really just a criticism of the particular club that they were in at the time, or the particular teacher that they had, I've used that to help me learn new things. Like I've said in other discussions, some of the discussion boards I've been on, if I just went by what I saw in schoolyard fights as the gospel truth, I would have never studied any form of grappling at all. If I went by what I saw in some people I fought in schoolyard fights when I was young, I would have never, ever taken up boxing lessons. And if I did that, I would have missed out on learning from some very good martial artists. Because the guy that taught me how to box also studied the internal arts. That's how I first heard about Chinese martial arts, Xingyi Bagua, and learned that Tai Chi could actually be used for combat. because he took those eternal principles and put those to his boxing. Now I would have never thought to do that if I'd been narrow-minded. And just like with judo, I took judo, got a black belt in that, and met some very good martial artists. Great. Found out there's a lot more going on in judo than what you see in competitions. Now, I never would have learned that or known that if I had been narrow-minded. If I decided to tune out all criticisms, Taekwondo is just people hating, instead of trying to listen to see if there's any truth behind it. And even though a lot of times there may not be truth behind some of the stuff, it got me to think about new things, learn new ideas, and as a result, I've learned a lot. And what I do in turn is turn around and pass on whatever I can, that's like it's bad, to who I'm teaching. Cecil Washington, signing out. And that is how I turn around hate into something positive. Have a good day.